Welcome back, everybody, to our little cabin craft puts cardboard log cabin. As I promised today, I'm going to show you how to finish it. And I did something a little bit different with my roof. I cut strips of cardboard and made shingles. And I also base coated the house for the sake of time, to save you all time to show you more of the detail stuff. And it's just a really good thing you all can't see me right now. I have a raging pink eye on top of all the other nonsense that's going on. So I look like Quasimodo right now. So needless to say, no devotionals for a while until my eyeballs look normal. But anyway, I put shingles on this little guy, and I base coated the roof the same color. I'm going to tell you what my colors are. So for the windows, I have all different brands of acrylic paint. I just grab whatever I think looks nice. This is Ceramcoat Antique Gold. So that was the windows. Then I have Americana. This is called Heritage Brick. That was the door. So it's like a barn red. And then my little log cabin that I have is like a sandstone color. So this is again Americana, and this is almondine. It's not white. It's almondine for the chinking that's going to show through the logs. And then for the logs, I have apple barrel, burnt umber, and that's what I did. I undercoated the roof with, and the chimney. And you want to make sure when you paint that you coat the inside of your chimney and the edges. And see, I painted the edges of the roof and just under the eave. And I'm going to go back then after I get the rest of this finished, because I left this blank to show you. I'm going to put a ridge cap on here. And you can see I just had to use little scraps right here for the edge of the chimney. But you can get as elaborate with these things as you want. I mean, if you're very architectural and artistic, you can get little stones and glue stones on the chimney. You can get little tiny pieces of balsa wood, or even, oh gosh, what could you use? Like really skinny little slivers of wood, or even little tiny twigs, and outline your windows and stuff. So you can get as elaborate as you want. And then, of course, we will paint the base white. And this is just good old cheap white. And we'll paint that white. And like I said, if you have a Sharpie, you can even put some details on, and I might do that. But and I've got some gray. This is just called Country Gray. And I'm going to mix that with some black and some of the tan to make little stones. And I'll show you how to do that. But first of all, I want to finish this ridge cap. And I cut a strip of wood. So my little shingles I made strips that were 1/2 inch strips by the length of the house. And I even gave myself an extra 1/2 inch. So the length of the house is 5 inches. But I gave myself a 1/2 inch on either way, just for, and then I cut them off flush to make them. But I'm not happy with this ridge cap because it sits down too far on the shingles. So I'm just gonna, and you can see I scored it. And this is, let's see, 3.5 inches. And of course it was 1 inch wide, and I scored it so I could fold it in half. And that was the length of from the chimney to the end, 3.5 inches. And then I've got a little tiny piece here for over here. But I don't like how far down that goes, so I'm actually going to cut, now that because it's easier when it's bigger to do that. But I'm going to cut I'm going to cut this about in half, I think. Because I just barely, on each side, I just barely want a ridge cap. So I'm cutting it about in half on each side. So now my ridge cap is about 1/4 of an inch. And hopefully that will cover. And it does. And that looks way better. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Of course, you need your handy glue gun. And just put some in the ditch there. And mash it down really good. That's better. And I'm going to do the same thing with this little tiny piece that goes on this side. I'm going to cut that side in half. And that's going to go flying. And that side in half. So now you see we've just got a little bitty tiny ridge cap. Let me see which way I need to go with this so you all can see. Ah, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. And you just need a little bitty tiny bit of glue. Just a little tiny dot, because this is such a small spot over here. And we're just going to mash that down. So now we're going to paint. And I've got this is one of my paint brushes that I don't care if it gets woolly, because we're going to need to go in all those cracks. And if you'll notice on my shingles, some of them are skinnier and wider apart, because shingles are not like perfectly even. They're like random widths. So this is what's nice and easy, is you don't have to worry about them being perfect, because if they're not perfect, they look more natural. So we're going to get some of our, I've got me a paper plate here. Whoops. I am so messy. I got a little bit down here on the paper. I'll get that off. Okay. And we're just going to go to town. And make sure that you get in that ridge cap. And it's just kind of easier to just slip your brush up under there. Okay, and now the bottom, and you want to be careful that you don't like flick little brown spots on your, of course I guess it really wouldn't matter if you flick little brown spots on your beige. And then make sure that you look up and you get any of the cardboard showing. And of course, you can see all of that right there. So we're just going to hit that. And we're going to do our ridge. And then we want to turn it over on the side. Make sure you get all that. Go underneath there. And then we'll do this side that I just did. And you can see when I painted the roof that I just kind of went up under that ridge cap there on that side and that side. You don't have to go way up under there on the front, because it's not going to show. And this will dry nice and matte colored. So we're just going to hit that. Of course, I see glue strings everywhere. And then I'll hit this side, down the side, and then we'll paint the back. And this really didn't take me very long at all to cut these little shingles. And what's going to be really cute is when you start putting the snow on. And I'm going to show you how to dry brush these shingles to make them look a little frosty. So like I said, we're going to paint this one a tiny bit different than the one that my sample one. And then flip it over and get these edges. And then make sure, see all of that light brown in there? And some of this might not show, but just in case it does. So we're going to put glitter. We're going to put glitter on the roof for snow. There we go. So now we have our painted roof. And I'm going to put that in my paint water. And so then next, with the same brown, I'm going to do some logs. Now the cool thing about logs is, especially like natural logs, they're not, how do I want to say this? Well, they're not uniform. Logs are kind of wavy. If you would see my log cabin in real life, they're hand hewn and they're very imperfect. So that's good news for us. But what we want to do is we want to put a log wall or a log right across the top here. So I'm going to get some of my paint, and I've got a thinner brush, and I'm just going to draw a log right across the top of my window. See how wavy that is? That is not a perfect line. And that's totally fine. I want to get in those cracks over here. So then I'm going to put another one kind of up on the ridge line here. This would be fun for kids to do because kids don't worry about whether or not things are absolutely perfect. And you don't have to worry about seeing that little bit of white there, because if you remember, let me get it. On our cabin, you're going to put snow because snow would catch on your windows and on the top of the windows and stuff. So I want you to think of anywhere that snow is going to fall, and that's where you're going to put it. So we don't have to worry about that right now. Okay, now back to our logs. So now I'm going to put one along the bottom edge of the windows. And fill in those little cracks. And then now we know that one goes there. And then let's turn it around this way. Getting in between these windows is a little harder. You kind of got to flip it around back and forth. Can't do a nice even line. So there's that. Now we'll do the other window. We're going to go along the bottom of the window, because you know logs would be along your windows. So now we know we got to go in the middle of this one. Let's get those cracks. And then Try to get it directly across from your other window, right in the middle. So there's that. So now we know there's going to be one right along the foundation. So that's going to be fairly easy. You can just follow that's why I didn't do the white yet. So in case I get a little bit of brown on it, we can go back and fix it. And then we're going to do one on this side of the door. And there we go. There's the front. I bet the pioneers wish they could have built a cabin that fast, huh? So now we're going to turn it on its side. And you can kind of see where I stopped these other logs. So what you want to do is you want to go in between those logs for your next log. So let me show you what I mean. So you see like that? And then put a little bit down here on the bottom, because it wouldn't just be flat chinking down there. Got to have a sill log so you can see where this one starts. Okay. And like I said, you ought to see my log cabin on if you look on all four walls. There's some skinny logs. There's some fat logs. And they are all hand hewn. So then we're up here at the top, and you just go. Now once you get to the top of these eaves, don't matter whether or not you have an interlocking cabin, or log, I mean, sorry. And then there's probably one right up in here. There you go. There's the side. Now we're going to flip him around. And I'm going to do one big one all across the bottom. Like I said, it's okay if they're a little wavy. So now you can see how your logs will look. So this one we're going to start right here. So you see that your logs look a little more realistic when they're interlocking like this. There's that one. And then this one here. There's that one. And then there'll be one right up here along the ridge line. And if you turn it around, you'll see that it meets right there on the corner. That's the third side. Now we'll do the eave side again. And you can see your corner here and your corner here. They're pretty even. And like I said, and now we'll just put a little thin line down here, because we're going to get snow on the ground there. And then we're going to see on this corner of the house, there we go. So that one and that one match. Like I said, you can see how kids are gonna love this project. Looking good. And then the next one. Right up there. And then we'll do another one. And then another one. And then right up to the ridge cap. There. And you'll notice these are not perfect. But they're very log cabin-y looking. So now I'm going to, well, I can't curl some of these up, but I wanted to show you. Let's see. I need a thinner brush here. I'm going to water my burnt whatever that was. What is that? Burnt raw umber. No, that wasn't it. What is it? Oh yeah, burnt umber. I'm going to water that down a little bit so that I have a little more finer brush control. And I've got a little tiny brush here. And I'm going to make my door. And so I'm just going to put a post there. And a post there. And then we're going to make a Z. I'll get it up here under the camera so you can see what I'm doing. And see if you water it down. If you water your paint down, it'll give you lines. And then we're going to do our boards. Let's see. Also, I outlined it. And this one probably won't show with the snow, but we're going to put it in there anyway. And then we put our boards. You can see I didn't go all the way up. Just kind of give it the look of boards. And then of course we got to have a doorknob. And so then we're going to do the same thing with the windows. I'm going to make my cross first. And then I'll outline the frame. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing that with a paintbrush, you can get a marker, and you can even get fine point markers in colors. So if you want to get a Sharpie, a fine point Sharpie, there we go. Okay. And I see, when you see like little parts like that, where your brown didn't get all in the crack, just kind of give it a once over and see. I think we're good. Now we're ready to move on, excuse me, to the, let me find my other brush again. And of course you need a paper towel for your brush. And I'm going to do the stones like we did on this one. And you can see it's just little blobs of gray. So I'm going to put my gray over here, right next to the brown. Don't need much, just a blob. And then I had a little bit of black. And this is a straight up black. Just a little dot there. And I just kind of touched into each color. And you can see my brush has got a little bit of everything on there. And I started up at the top. And I just did a blob. Looks like I need more gray because it's not really showing. And I just made some irregular little blobs. And then I come down and kind of go in between them. And then of course you'll need a little bit on the ends. I'm going to start going fast now. Just, you can see these don't have to be perfect. It's going to give you the illusion of little rocks. Like I said, if you want, you can actually, you can get little bitty stones. If you go to the hobby train section of your hobby store, this is not really going to show down there because we're going to have glitter there. And then we turn it over and do the same thing. And I always, like I said, I start at the top. And then go down kind of in between the other ones. Anyway, if you go to the railroad modeling section, and you can even like do some little dots for some smaller stones. In between. So we'll do this Eve. Oops. No, the gray came out on that one. There we go. And then just do some dots. And now the back side. So in the railroad modeling section of the hobby store, they've got little tiny bushes, little tiny rocks. And I wanted to even cut up some little sticks and make a little log pile outside the front door. There we go. Chimney done. Okay. Chimney done on all 4 sides. Now I'm going to take that brush that I had earlier that I used to make our roof with, and I'm going to dry brush on so you can really see the shingles, a little bit of gray, and it'll also look like frost. So I'm just going to put a little gray, and I'm going to show you how to dry brush if you all have not heard of that before. So I just barely got a little bit of gray here. And on your paper towel, I'll get it pushed back so you can see it. On your paper towel, take most of it off, and then you just kind of hit your shingles. I need a little bit more, but I'm going to take it off. Now you really see your shingles. Isn't that cool? And that took what? A couple seconds? Dry brushing is so cool. It highlights things. So I'm getting a little more gray, and then I'm going to take it off. And again. There we go. We have weathered shingles. Isn't that neat? Now, if you really want to give your, and I'm doing this for the first time on live TV, I don't know what it's going to do, but, you know, if you want to give your house a little more definition, you can take a Sharpie and just kind of scribe your windows. I don't know if I like that or not, but I did it, so we're going to do it to the other side now. Because once it's done, it's done. There we go. You can even give your wood doors some extra oomph. Maybe color in your little door a little better. Kind of makes everything pop. And then I thought about one more thing is, you know, your little windows. I'm going to do a little tiny dab of white. I mean, it's a tiny dab. And that little teeny weeny brush that I have, this little bitty guy, I'm just going to put a couple of like white streaks in the windows, like lights reflecting off the window panes. There we go. There's that. And then maybe put a little bit of think you can see that much, but it gives it a little bit of course my Sharpie is so fine it's running out of running out of ink. There we go. So now comes the fun part. So I have Mod Podge. You all can use regular glue if you want. White Elmer's glue. Tacky glue, whatever you have on hand. And we're going to do the fun part. So you're just going to take your paintbrush and we're going to dip it in Mod Podge. And we're going to start with the chimney first because the chimney would have glue. Oh, that's the wrong brush, Candy. There we go. That's the one I want. I want that one. We're going to go all around. We're just going to tap glue because anywhere there's a flat surface, and of course it would be all along the ridge cap. And you can be generous up here. And look how sloppy I'm being. But you know how snow just kind of drifts and comes down. And don't forget your little ridge cap on that side. So we're going to start with the top. Okay. And then I have a paper plate here, because we're going to do this over the paper plate, and then that way you can save your... And we're going to put it on the paper plate. And I'm just going to start putting my fluffy make sure you hit that. Go all along the ridge. Okay. And then just kind of tap off the excess. Okay. Now we also know that snow kind of gathers along the chimney. So we're going to kind of go along the chimney here on this side. And then we're going to go down the edges of the roof. This is the fun part. I love this part. And then, you know, it's gonna gather down here at the edge. Just think about your own roof if you've seen snow on your own roof. If you live in Florida, I'm sorry. It's like they say on Home Alone. How can you celebrate Christmas in a tropical climate? I don't know. Anyway, so now we've got glue there. And I'm going to get my glitter. I'm going to go down this side. And I'm going to go across the eave there. The overhang. And make sure you get in the crack of that chimney. Shake off the excess. There we go. And then I'm going to do, and my oven went off, my oven timer, because I'm making soup on the stove. I'm just going to kind of make some little blobs along the front of the roof, just in some random spots. You know, when your snow melts, it just kind of melts in random ways. So just and there we go. Now it's going to do that until I get up and turn it off, and I ain't going to do it right now. So now we're going to put a little bit of glue around the top of our windows and our door frame. There we go. Now let's do the back side. Of course, we got to do the chimney again. Or as little kids say, the chimney. That is so annoying. I didn't remember that that was going to happen while I was filming. And unlike Ron and Justine, they're so good at what they do, I don't know how to edit. So, you know, we're going to listen to that beep while I'm doing it. I'm just going to put a few blobs back here. And then we're going to go along the bottom. Okay. I've got enough in my plate that I can just kind of use that. Now, if you're a clean freak and you don't like glitter in your house, this project is definitely not for you. Because I guarantee you, you're going to be picking up glitter for months. Probably into Easter. There's that. Now, on the back side, I'm going, excuse me, I'm going to just kind of do a few random things. And on the side, because you know, snow blows up, hits the edge of your house. So we're going to put a little on the sides too, and the back. The cool thing is, it's your house. You can have as much snow as you want. You can have a veritable blizzard. Oh, not there. Okay. Shut up, oven. All right, now, give everything a good tap. You can see. And now we're going to, I'm going to paint the white all along the base. And this won't take but a second. We can even throw glitter on it while it's wet, while the oven beeps at me again. It's either the cuckoo clock or something at my house. Okay. So I've got white paint. I'm just going to go very nicely along the base. And like I said, it don't matter if you get a little bit of it up on your cabin, because it's going to get covered with snow anyway. Okay, and now this side. I think I can pick it up. There we go. Yeah, it's pretty dry now. Okay. Now, one more thing. What'd I do with it? Oh, no. Shoot. I brought a Christmas tree, but I lost it. Well, anyway, I have another little Christmas tree like this one. Move over. That I bought at the hobby store, but the base is usually covered in gold. And so I painted it white while I have white here. But I've lost my Christmas tree, so we're not going to do that. So I'm going to, let's get this back over here into the picture. I'm going to paint some Mod Podge on my base, and then we'll glitter that. And like I said, the paint's still kind of wet, so it'll probably stick to it. Anyway. And you don't have to be super neat with this part because this is just the base and it's just getting snow. And now this side. And last but not least, we're going to glitter the cabin base. And get it up here in the camera where you can see what I'm doing. And all of this dries pretty fast. And there you go. There's our cabin. And I've got a cotton ball here. I'm just going to take a piece of this and just kind of pull it around a little bit. And just there. Hopefully you'll all make one of these. And like I said, you can get as elaborate or as simple as you want. Make a barn, make a church, make some regular little houses. Don't forget to glue a Christmas tree over here in the corner. Thought I laid it out, but it's probably blending in with the Christmas trees on my tablecloth. Or I knocked it in the floor. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you guys make these. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoy making it as much as I did. This was a lot of fun. And like I said, make this with just cardboard. You can make it with a cereal box, or, you know, you can make a round building with an oatmeal box and cut windows out of it, or you can get as elaborate or as simple as you want. But everybody's got cardboard boxes of some sort. Macaroni, you know, macaroni and cheese, rice, anything that comes in a box. Just take that puppy and open up one side of it and use the cardboard side, and there you go. Something you've already got at home. So thanks for watching, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Bye.